Let's all stand. Service. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dennis here.
Bless this food. Oh, please join in prayer or meditation as I say, bless this food to our use and us to thy service. Amen.
Amen. Alan, we're ready for a song.
All right. We've been missing. We didn't have any spring this year. It just went from that cold, wet thing. The weather got outside, so I thought we'd welcome in the season with page 11, the very bottom. The good old summertime, and it's all written over 120 years ago, 1902. I first published that. And it's been popular ever since. So let's welcome in the season, shall we? In God will from the sun, in the grove of the sun. Bring the shade rain, with my baby mine. Your hands and she goes mine, and that's the very sign. That she might say what in
That was great, Alan. You can always see. We have a few announcements. I came around with the sign-up sheet for the installation dinner at the end of the month. It's the last Tuesday of the month, June 25th, 5:30 at the Coach House. And you have another week if you change your mind, if you want to come, or if for some reason you can't come. You can bring a guest if you didn't know, and it's going to be $42 for guests. The club will take for the members. And then I think we're still having the road cleaned up this weekend.
Yeah, this weekend is the road cleanup. It's scheduled for 9 a.m. because Mark thinks it's gonna be fun. But if anybody wants to come later, because we don't have very many volunteers yet. I'm gonna send this one more time. Today's the day I have to call VDOT to tell them how many volunteers are. So this is sort of the last chance to get on them. Mostly you guys already had it, right? On this side of the room. This side of the room didn't have.
This is volunteer.
I know sometimes we have students, you can bring a friend or family member, so. Bill, do you know if any of the students have been invited?
No, caught me kind of short, and they're doing 1,000 things with getting out of school for the year.
All right. And Katie, did you want to say anything about the crab cake sale now, or since we're gonna have a little meeting after this meeting to discuss some details with people on that? Sorry.
Excuse me. For those who typically help, we're gonna do a little meeting afterwards just to order supplies, go through our list of what supplies we have, what we need to order. For making our crab cakes on the last Friday of the month, which is the 28th, I believe.
Yep.
Those who don't recall and haven't been part of the email exchange going on, Curtis has announced that we have sold out. Please stop selling crab cakes. Yay, but we have sold out. We have increased our number for those who are keeping track of this. This is the most number of crab cakes we're gonna make again this year, and we are fully sold out. If you still would like to trade your assigned two trays, every club member is given 2 trays to sell automatically, and hopefully you sold more. Clearly some have done that. But if you don't think you're gonna want your 2 trays, let Burtis know, and he will arrange for trades among, and assign them out to where people are still in need of additional trays to fill their orders. So stick around for those who are gonna help with all of our equipment that needs this, as well as those who want to be there from the morning up for setup. We'll just talk a little bit about that as to what time we need you to show up and help us get the room set up, and it's over at the Sheridan Fire Station.
All right, thanks, Katie. We do have two, people that have been proposed for membership, and they've been approved by the club. and the
Rick's
board.
got it.
Oh, Rick.
Picking up the rescue squad or the fire? Actually, the rescue squad.
The Sheridan Fire Station.
Yeah, we're making up the chair of the fire station, that's where we're gonna pick them up at noon.
Fire Station in Sheridan.
The new building.
Sorry, Rick. You caught me at a bad moment.
But anyway, Adam Charming and Dora Sullivan are approved for membership, if you know them and see them, invite them to come to the meetings. And, if you wanna buy a card for the card games, there's still some available, otherwise we'll have.
Yes.
Else has some now.
The,
I mean, that's why they started all this investigation, right? Why they did all these things,
speakers, right?
even
And
though Jennifer got it on the wrong side.
table, Darren, Jim, and Kip and I are all members. I guess this is the floral table, but we're gonna have a concert on June 23rd, Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon before our final meeting of the year. At 4 o'clock, I think. And it's gonna be a collection of songs having to do with the shore, not necessarily this shore, but a shore somewhere. And some of them have to do with the Eastern Shore. So it should be an entertaining concert, and hope some of you will come.
It is a very pretty selection of songs.
Where?
Where?
Oh, that Palestine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Any other announcements?
4 o'clock. As I don't know if everyone knows, but the caboose painting has been,
Completed.
we've been replaced. I'd like it, if anyone has any materials that they left at the caboose, I have most of the stuff. If you need anything, let me know what it is, and I'll make arrangements and we can get it back.
All right, any other announcements? How about happy dollars? Anybody have any happy dollars or other dollars?
Many has a, many.
Betty? Oh, Betty had an announcement in Visible History Meeting. What is that? 2 o'clock on Zoom. All right. Karen, what?
$10 is my husband's finally doing better. And his surgery.
It was happy dollars.
I have 29 happy dollars, 19 happy dollars, correct myself. I'm being away 19 days on a great vacation in the Great Lakes.
Right. Any other happy dollars?
Yeah, yes, this is a delayed happiness because after the art walk and the 100th celebration, I couldn't express my happiness over the Joan. Joan did because she rushed off on a vacation. But Joan, thanks again for a tremendous job. She got hers.
Other happy dollars, Paul?
Yes, I've got $5 happy dollars. I was able to go to the Kip the Peak Elementary School with Bill Payne yesterday, and we were able to present the Student of the Year Award to a serving young man there, and as well as so we gave him a $50 gift certificate from a club, as well as a plaque, and gave the runner-up a $25 gift certificate. So Rotary got some credit.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other comments? All right, who has a high card for the card game?
Yeah, look for your
Hey,
It's 3 of hearts.
I got two spades.
ace of clubs.
Oh, over here.
well, Chuck has the ace of spades.
Yeah.
It looks like there's about $33 in the pot, so Paul will figure out how much you get if you win. All right, you can share that out. No winner today, but you get, a quarter of the pots. All right, we have a guest speaker today, Lydia from Wildlife Refuge. I'm sorry, I forgot your last name. Lydia Hanson. I'll let you talk to us, tell us a little bit about yourself. Talk about the Wildlife Refuge.
My name is Lydia Hanson. I work at Eastern Shore of Virginia National Wildlife Refuge, about 15 minutes south of here. White Point and Bainbridge. I actually grew up in Iowa, and then I moved to Nebraska in 2011. And then I moved to DC because my dad got a fancy new job, uprooted the family, we moved out there, and they moved to Minnesota. Then I went to school. I have a degree in wildlife and fisheries sciences. While I was there, I started an internship with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, which is a federal agency. Under the term of that intern, or the rules of the internship, as long as I put forward a certain amount of hours, graduated school, got my degree, I would then be placed in a permanent job with the agency. And so I did. And I started my career at Back Bay National Wildlife Refuge. I was there for about a year. That one actually ended up being a term position because they didn't have a permanent slot available until this one came up. This one is permanent. And Eastern Shore Virginia National Wildlife Refuge recently accepted me as their permanent full-time park ranger, which is great because I haven't had one of those in years. So I would like you to please raise your hand if you have been to the refuge that I prefer. That's great. Thank you. There are 571 or 2, we get new refuges. About 570 national wildlife refuges in the country. There's at least one in every 50 states. There are also some in U.S. territories. Virginia has, let's say, about at least 11 or 12. And they're all concentrated around the Chesapeake Bay, and also happen to be along the Atlantic flyway. So when you look at bird migration patterns, and you have a map of the United States, you'll see these lines, these curved lines that go down from north to south or south to north. And these are like invisible highways that these birds are taking as they migrate north and migrate south. So the Atlantic flyway is, of course, along the Atlantic Ocean. So when you look at a map of the refuges, most of them will be situated along one of those flyways. So that is why we are here. Our refuge is actually very, very special because if you are a bird and you are flying south for the winter or in the fall migration, you are generally keeping the Atlantic Ocean on your left side as you are going south. And when you do that, and you stick to that, you are eventually funneled down to the very point of the Delmarva Peninsula you are. And then, when you are a bird, you are faced with a vast body of water called the Chesapeake Bay. And you have to cross that to continue to go down to Mexico, to South America. And even if you are a big hawk, even if you are a little tiny songbird, that's a long ways. So what they do here at the refuge is they use it as a staging ground. These birds will stay here sometimes for weeks, waiting for the perfect tailwind to carry them across the Chesapeake Bay so they can make the trip. But what that means is that they will stay at Eastern Shore Virginia National Wildlife Refuge, and they will refuel. So they need food, they need habitat, place to live, protection from predators, things like berries to eat, and seeds and other animals. And that is what we are tasked with providing, is a resting ground, a place for these migrating birds to refuel. Now, we are mostly specialized in fall migration, and why not the spring migration, right? We do get a lot of spring migrants coming through, but after you've migrated south the first time, as a bird, you're on your way back north. There is something about the topography of the land that makes these birds realize they don't have to cross the Chesapeake in that one big space. They can go around, and they do. So we are just a really, really big hotspot for the fall migration, but it's not just birds, it's also butterflies. So we specialize in monarch butterflies as well. And in summer months, because we also control Fisherman Island National Wildlife Refuge, we have nesting shorebirds. So right now on Fisherman Island, I'm happy to say that we have piping plovers nesting, we have American oyster catchers nesting, common terns, least terns, gold-billed terns, black skippers, and willets. Those are just nests that I have personally seen with my own eyes. And so it's a very, very spectacular place. I hope that at least some of you have taken the Fisherman Islands tour. And those start in October after the nesting season is complete. And then they go through February. And these are volunteer tours because I am just one person. Down at Eastern Shore Virginia National Wildlife Refuge, we have 2 permanent full-time staff. And I am one of them. My manager, Nicole Walker, is the other. We also have right now a term maintenance employee named Daniel, who helps us with things break. He helps us with mowing and keeping things maintained. So when we talk about staffing shortages and the volunteers, this is what we're struggling with right now. And then we are a federal agency, so we get our budget from federal government, just passed by Congress. And every year that budget seems to go down. The money that we have gotten this year, for example, is much less than the funding we first got when we were established in 1984. And that's not, there's no number changing inflation there. So it's looking a little grim. So our greatest need right now as a wildlife refuge is probably volunteer support and visitation. What they want to do is keep that visitor center down there open because it's a great building, has lots of exhibits. And my job is to teach other people about wildlife, about nature, about habitat, about the importance of other areas for the specific benefit of the American people. Now, if this visitor center closes, which it almost did last year, then we won't be able to do that anymore. So personally, I am looking for volunteers. Any of you are interested or know people who are interested, there are front desk volunteering opportunities. We have somebody who comes in every week to help mow for us. Great. It's a pretty stimulant to do other things like work on sign installation. We have some, we have a lot of military history now. We have a World War II era bunker. And we also have a very, very big gun that was on the USS Missouri that was used in World War II. And that somehow was made its way up here after they decommissioned it. And then later it was sitting in a shipyard for a long time. And they eventually brought it up here. And then they also brought one up to Delaware. So we have that gun and that bunker right next to each other. We have a couple of other bunkers around the site that are just not accessible to people. But military history here is quite interesting, in my opinion. There are a lot of things that we do with it. We're working on getting more signage, more interpretation. The whole area was under control of the US Air Force for a time as well. So again, volunteering is very, very helpful for us. But I'd also like to talk about the refuge system in general, because like I said, we are one of about 570 of these sites. And every single wildlife refuge was established for a different purpose. But most of them are going to be centered around migratory birds. And I know that when I grew up, I wondered why migratory birds were so special. Because we also have a lot of other animals, like insects. We have a tiger beetle that is endangered around here. Nobody really talks about the tiger beetle. We have lizards and snakes, salamanders, frogs, and birds. We have mammals, we have deer, raccoons, possums. But birds are the service's main focus. This is because, I hope I'm not being too redundant, but a lot of you might have already known about this. But market hunting was a major issue back in the early 1900s. And those were people going out with these guns called hunt guns that they would shoot and kill waterfowl for their meat, and then other birds like egrets and herons for their plume feathers. These plume feathers were more than gold per ounce at the time. Were used as a fashion accessory in women's hats. It's a very stylistic symbol of wealth. And so these birds had no regulations put on them by the government. There was no limit to how many you could shoot and what weapons you could use to do it. And it was just extremely lucrative. Back then, if you wanted to get rich, that is this beef. Around here, waterfowl meat was delis. There are a lot of old hunt clubs history of this market hunting on the shore. That's why when you go to a lot of historical places, you see a lot of duck decoys or a lot of those old weapons. And so this was not sustainable, as you might have imagined. And in 1903, the first national wildlife refuge was established. This one is called Pelican Island. It's in Florida. It still exists today. This was established for the brown pelican, which was on the Endangered Species Act and was an endangered species, which is kind of crazy. Because I moved here about a year and a half ago to the East Coast, and I see brown pelicans all the time. And I think that's fantastic. It's a major success story. Now, it's not only birds that we hear about, right? Like you see shinty, they did restoration for the Delmarva Peninsula across the world, which was also endangered. Now it's not. This is largely thanks to the Endangered Species Act across the year. And then the Migratory Bird Treaty Act is what came around to really protect migratory birds. And has placed every migratory bird native to the United States under legal protection. You cannot kill it, you cannot harass it. You can't do anything with its nest. So like ospreys are protected, sparrows, most finches, cardinals, blue jays, and then you have things like starlings, which are not protected because they're not native. One fact about starlings, the European starling was released intentionally into the United States along with some other birds by a group of Shakespeare fans because they wanted every bird that was mentioned in a Shakespearean play to be in the United States. So there was a bunch of starlings as one of these species, and now European starlings are everywhere. So another problem that we deal with as a wildlife refuge is dealing with those basic species. We also have a grass in the area. We call it common reed, also known as Phragmites australis. We have to manage that one with a lot of bushcraft burning, sometimes with herbicide spraying, propagation. This was brought over on accident from Europe in ship ballast. And actually, sometimes it was used as packing material in crates. And then it got chlorinated with water, it's seeded, it's wet with the plant, and it grows everywhere. Problem with those invasive species is that they don't allow anything else to grow. They take over completely, and they're not really good forage food for the species that we're trying to protect the species that live here. So it becomes a really big problem. It is an attack on our biodiversity because we need a lot of different things for the different animals to eat. When you have a wetland that's filled with just this breed, it's an issue. And so there are a lot of invasive plants that we're dealing with. Some invasive animals as well, like the cicada deer. is invasive. So it's probably a great thing to participate in a sea deer hunt. I used to be kind of against hunting, because I never wanted to kill animals. I still get no pleasure from it, but I've since learned that it's very effective management. Recently, there are white-tailed deer hunts in so many places. It's because white-tailed deer spread very fast, and they spread disease very fast. And when there are more of them, they will run out of resources. Either die from disease or starvation, or by car crashes because they're on the roads in by cars. So hunting in that regard is very good management. So I hope that's enough of an overview of what we're doing here as wildlife refuge. We're managing habitat for these animals, so we can better protect the animals themselves, which better protects us. Because we would not be around many of these species. If you remove even one animal from the ecosystem, the whole thing can collapse. There's a very good example of this. Yellowstone National Park. I don't know if anyone has heard of when they tried to remove wolves from Yellowstone. It didn't go well. Because the wolves were eating things like elk and deer. And then with those animals unchecked, they completely ravaged the plant life in the area, became very barren for a while. They eventually reintroduced wolves to Yellowstone, and it slowly came back to normal. But it's a good example that we have to be very, very careful with how we're interfering with an ecosystem, doing what if that didn't happen. And that's really what I'll leave you with today. I really appreciate all of you saying such good things. Your attention.
But
Yes, of course.
Is something wrong with the swallowtail butterflies this year?
Something wrong with the swallowtail?
I don't see,
Not all.
I don't see very many.
I haven't heard of a problem with them in particular. Pollinators in general are increasingly in danger because of pesticide use, because of lawns, because of habitat destruction, urbanization. So you're seeing a lot, actually a lot more pollinator gardens around, which is great. We have a couple of gardens in the refuge. There are a lot of native plants that you can put in your garden.
Some of them
I haven't heard anything about that. I have heard that, we have accused monarch of first here. They were added to have the US endangered species list, and the IUCN red list, just first party. They classify them as endangered, not because of how few there are currently, but because how fast their population is going down.
Question. So I've heard from others that they're on the impact of the wolves. Just to ensure Virginia, is that true or?
It doesn't mean it's not short, only been here 6 months. If that means you're for Virginia specifically.
Yeah. Been told by several people.
I have no idea. There are conflicts with Chincoteague, Wallace Island, and Fisherman Island. I have not heard in any of our conversations that there are private wolves. If they were causing problems, I imagine we would be hearing about it. But I haven't heard anything from our island too. Not to say they don't exist.
Yeah.
I just haven't heard about that first. Yes.
I'm just curious how big the bird watching is, or they come down during the migration period down at this part. So
It's very, very good, especially in the fall. We have a lot of full birds right here now. We haven't even much things that bluebird species. I love the bluebirds, they're pretty cool. And we have lots of ospreys in summer. Fall, we get our waterfowl, our ducks, geese, swans. But the fall is really good. It's mostly warblers. We call them all the little songbirds, neotropical migrants. They go to the tropics to the south. It's supposed to be a pretty good. Yes.
is there a
Is there a relationship between the Nature Conservancy and the Barrier Island Center? I'm not a part of either of those groups, but there is. We are all partners working together on the board. the mission of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is working with others to protect and conserve plants, wildlife, and their habitats for the benefit to generations of American people. So the first three words in my mission statement, working with others, is something we take part. So we work with the Nature Conservancy, we work with Bear Island Center, we work with the FIMS. Any other questions?
What kind of programs do you have going for the community?
What kind of programs do we have going for the community? Historically, we have had almost nothing down here. That is my prerogative to actually try to start up something. If you have any ideas, let me know. I tried to get some kayaks recently so I can start doing kayak tours and educate people about the barrier islands. I was not able to get the kayaks, so that one has been stripping. But we're thinking about doing bird walks. Really, the only thing we do have is the Fisherman Island tour from October to February. It's a walking tour of the island. They go over the military history and biology, ecology of the island. For giving me your attention.
Thanks, I think we have a mug for you. Yeah, yes. Rotary mugs. Beautiful members. Come back again. Come back with your thanks. If you're looking for volunteers, I know I remember Joe McCallie puts that, Charles Hackman. Might be a place where you can advertise if you're looking to help out. Talk to Joan about that, I'm sure she'd be glad to get your contact information. All right, and John Burtis didn't come, so he's.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I had some vision, we need to go to the bank too, by the way, so. Anyway, when I say we're sold out, we're not totally sold out. The reason I say that is, every time I say they're sold out, then I get like 15 calls the next 2 or 3 days, check things up again. So we've actually sold, and this includes the one that Bill Payne, Libby Wright, stole from my 330 of the 336, okay? And that includes people who are willing to trade, like Chip and others who aren't. We got more, so we probably have about 10 or 12 or maybe 15 trades in play. Okay, so now it also includes Wayne Bell, Tom Godwin, Dave Kevler, who have been missing in action, and Jason Redstein, never told me about working. But so I'm counting them off and have sold 2. They may be willing to trade theirs. So relax a little bit, but I just had to put the brakes on, they're starting to get right. Once we get to the end, it gets close. So we've sold somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,980 traffic. 2016 accounts. We have 40 workers signed up, which is the most we ever had beforehand. So don't let that give you a reason to be slack. A couple of them can't be here the whole time. But we're gonna need all the manpower and woman power we can deal with to make this many, but I'm sure we'll do fine. So if you do have the need to sell a few more trays, not stealing from me, really. No, seriously, if you have somebody who wants a tray or 2, I always keep a couple in reserve, and we've got 8 or 10 that are kind of in this never land. So that we are sold out, but that makes sense?
We're close.
We're really close, but so, you know, and I had to put the brakes on Payne at the end of the report, when he reported, shot us up there at the other stuff. So he's still the crab cake leader. I'm second, I probably could be first, but weren't, Payne stole a bunch of mine too, so. Anyway. any
They're not
questions?
yours, John.
Huh?
People don't like you, that's what.
I told Linda, that's why I said, if being nice is the theory, I couldn't sell crab cake. I mean, you know, I'm gonna say, well, your company, I do, okay. Bill's at 64, I'm at 48 now. Any questions? 9 o'clock, and I'm gonna be here.
We'll be here at 8.
Some have to be here early, we do have to move the crab meat bill right from the Legion Hall over to the fire hall, that'll take a little while. We can move it before. What about the unpack, are they gonna take care of the setting it up, delivering it bill? Is that covered on Wednesday when they bring it?
I don't know, I haven't talked to them about how,
Okay.
how that's gonna happen. Normally, he delivers his stuff in boxes.
Right.
So I gotta ask him how that's gonna
Well,
happen.
if you need some manpower to help
Yeah,
offload that on the Wednesday, whenever it
Right.
comes, you need to let us know.
okay, I will.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Good job, John.
New members, so my oldest. I think she ought to buy two and let him buy one. I'm just saying. Going, John.
All right, that concludes the meeting. Let's all stand and say the throwaway.
Is this the truth?
Is fair, law, and authority. Will build goodwill and better friendships. Will be beneficial to all concerned.
Will we have fun?
Yes.
All right.
Lydia.
Rob, those who help, with supplies, crab cake, please.